Thanks for coming.
Hello, I'm Matt Berger from the Metro. We're here for the Don John press conference. It's coming out from Relativity Media on September 27th. And I want to introduce, they don't really need any introduction, I'm going to introduce them anyway. We have Tony Danza, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Scarlett Johanson, and Julianne Moore. So I'm going to hog the microphone really briefly and just pester them with my own question first. First off, how did you feel, this is for everybody, but also for Joseph, but how did you feel that this film wanted to comment on youth and relationships and sex and so forth, especially in relation to some of the more kind of like classic, 80s youth films and so forth?
Yeah, well, it's a movie about how we can sometimes have unrealistic expectations of each other and how media can contribute to that. And, I personally have worked in the media, working as an actor in TV and movies my whole life, and especially in the last few years, I've been hearing it a lot where people say, oh, I wish that my life was like it was in that movie, or I wish that I had someone like you in that movie. And when I hear that, frankly, I get a little startled sometimes, because real life is not as simple as it is on a screen. And I think real life is actually a lot more beautiful, and there's a lot of details and nuances that you could never possibly capture in a movie or on a TV show or in a pornography clip or in a commercial or in a pop song. And so we wanted to kind of poke fun at comparing your real life to these expectations.
Great. What about the other people in the cast? What do you guys think of the subject? Do you have any comments on it?
No. Joseph summed it up right now.
This is just harder. It's so much easier to just push the button. It's harder. You have to actually, reciprocate. Huh? Louis De Palma used to say you got to talk to them. It's just.
Okay, comments or questions from anybody else here?
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Hello.
Joe, I have to ask you. Obviously, you wrote this film, and the bigger picture is that it is about addiction. So what was your research while you were writing this movie? Talk about how you came to be inspired to write something like this.
Well, yeah, like I was just saying, I think I was largely responding to the way that people seem to be reacting to all kinds of media. And, I thought that a story about a young man who watches too much pornography and a young woman who watches too many romantic Hollywood movies would be a good way of sort of bringing to light the way that we can all sometimes relate to all kinds of media, whether it's a pornography clip or a commercial for a hamburger. You see a woman on a screen and you reduce her to just a thing, a sex object. And that's something that I've been aware of really my whole life. My mom was always intent on making me aware of how that's a very common thing that happens in the media. My mom is very much active in the 60s and 70s and feminist movement, and she was always really keen to make my brother and me aware of this happening, and so it's always something I've thought of. Yeah, in a lot of ways it is. It's me writing a sort of comedy about a lot of the wisdom that she wanted to instill me with, and she really loves the movie actually, and that she was one of the first ones to read the script, and it's been great getting to talk with her about it.
Was it always a comedy? Oh, actually, hold on, we need to get a microphone to you. I can yell. Was it always a comedy, or was there a darker version of it?
Well, the original idea in broad strokes, I didn't know it was going to be a comedy, and I was trying to figure out how it would be. And I hadn't landed on anything that I liked until I was actually I was working on 50/50, and up there in Vancouver with Seth Rogen and his whole gang. And I really like the movies that he makes. I mean, 50/50 is sort of it's a comedy, but it's a character-based comedy. The humor comes from the characters, from the feelings, and when I was in the middle of that, I was like, oh, what if I approached this concept with this tone? And that's when it really took off in my mind, and I really started writing it.
Hey guys, Kurt Osterlund with Details. My question is for Joe. This is going to sound like a loaded question, but hopefully you can just kind of fire off some quick responses. Anyone who's even seen the trailer knows that there are a few key things that the character cares about: his clothes, his pad, his car, his girls, his boys. I was hoping you could offer some of your own preferences in as many of those areas as you care to, like what kind of cars you like, where you like to go to the gym, what kind of porn you like, if you care to share, all that kind of stuff.
You know, me and this character are really different. I don't care very much about cars. I don't like bodybuilding, et cetera, et cetera.
I do.
Hi, this one is for Tony, Tiffany DeMedio, Eclipse Magazine. You and Joseph actually worked together. This probably seems like a lifetime ago.
Oh,
when
for
he was just a
him.
kid. For him, yes, for him. He was just a kid. Angels in the Outfield. What's it like now, so many years later, and he's basically running the show, writer, director, actor. It's his company behind it. What was the experience like for both of you, actually?
And he gave me the job. So, it starts from there. I always had a sort of a paternalistic thing for Joe. He was 12 when we worked together. And and even then you could see he was, not only a talented kid, but he was driven. He used to say he wanted to follow the director instead of hang out with me. It was just crazy. But
We hung out.
yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. But it was really, I took a lot of pride. I sort of felt great for him because I knew this was important. And I've said this, and like I said, I don't want to just kiss his ass in public, but I think the writing is really the thing that really stands out. I mean, he's a very good director. He has a very strong hand, very clear vision. It makes it very easy for you, and it's a fun set. Everybody's, we're having a great time. But the writing is so very strong and easy. It just I said it to him. I hate to say this, but I said, he wrote this. I was like, when I got it. So that's what I was thrilled to be part of it, and I'm it's like I feel a little like I'm proud of I'm proud of this kid.
Thanks. Thank you.
Good morning, Audrey Bernard, Radioscope. Well, first of all, Tony, I think you remember Studio 54.
Oh yeah.
And this brought back memories of Studio 54. We weren't as crazy as the kids are today.
Oh no, we were crazy.
Yeah.
Oh come on. Oh come
But,
on. Are you kidding?
Well, nowadays with Molly, all these different things going out. Do you think that this movie is promoting bad behavior with the young people?
Can I answer? Can I just take a shot at that? I actually think, first of all, I love the movie, but I actually think it's an important movie for kids to see. Because it's a cautionary tale. It really does, and there's absolutely blatant warnings in there. About using condoms, about relationships. But I just think it's an important movie for so many reasons. I think the opposite is true. That instead of propagating bad behavior, it's actually calling on people to go, am I doing that? That's another question.
You think so much of your daughters. What do you think about how they would perceive of you in this movie? Because when you had a TV show, that's all you spoke about was your family, the mores, and all of that.
Yeah.
And then you see a movie like this, which
But-
I'm not saying I didn't like the movie. I'm just
No, but I think the characterization sort of connotes that it's this it's provocative certainly, but I don't think it's a movie that I watched Two Guns the other day. I think that's what's the problem, is that you have movies where people are killing each other left and right. I think this is a love story. I don't see how this is this could be a bad influence.
Well, just to add, I mean,
Please do.
Well, it's a satire, and I think it's pretty clear that the characters in the movie are not heroes and not exhibiting exemplary behavior. I think that's clear.
Well, wait a minute, that's not necessary.
So I thought that watching it yesterday, Barbara and John are kind of extreme gender stereotypes, where they are extreme versions of what they think a guy and a girl should be like. Do you think that Barbara's sort of distaste and disdain for porn plays into that? Like, is that part of it? Do girls think that guys watching porn is gross, or girls shouldn't be watching porn, or was that just a function of her character?
I mean, I think girls watch porn. They probably watch more porn than guys do. I mean, you know, and I think actually and we talked about this a little bit, but I think that if the main problem that Barbara has is that, you know, she's being lied to, and that's what really, I mean, I think if they had a conversation about it or whatever, maybe she would be more accepting of, I mean, obviously not his addiction, but whatever, maybe she would just think, oh, you know, that's like gross or whatever. But the fact is, maybe she could have had her opinion changed or like her mind expanded or I don't know, whatever. But the problem is really that he's lying to her. It's not that she's like so against porn that, you know, it's like that's not what devastates her. You know, it's just the fact that he's someone that she didn't know, you know, didn't expect. I think she's so totally shocked by it, and or didn't want to see or wasn't curious about. I mean, that's the problem. But you know, it was he's basically, it's like for her, it's almost like her boyfriend has like a family up the block that she never knew about or something.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, it's like he suddenly appears to be a completely different person than she wanted to see or imagined, and I think. But I think girls do watch porn. I don't think that's necessarily the point you were trying to get across, you know, was that women don't like porn or that it's disgusting to them or whatever. I don't know.
No, sure, and I don't think that either John or Barbara are meant to be, well, all girls are this way and all boys are that way. I think these are two examples of characters that, like you said, are really intent on fitting into dominant ideas, conventional ideas. There's you know, the character that Julie plays, Esther, is an example of someone who's very much her own person.
Yeah, which is why I liked it. I mean, you know, upon reading the script, the great thing about Esther is that due to her circumstances, she's someone who can't be anything less than 100% authentic, which is a hard thing to be. But because of where she is, she doesn't have the energy or the strength for anything else, you know. So she literally is going from moment to moment. And Joe wrote her in contrast to these other characters who are very much trying to have their behavior circumscribed by a gym culture, by a club culture, by a romantic comedy culture, a porn culture, you know, a religious one. You know, there are all these things we set up to kind of we think they're guidelines, but they can entrap you as well.
Good morning. This is for Joseph. What did you find most challenging about wearing so many hats on this project?
Well, the hardest part was the very beginning alone, because I think anytime you set out to make something, anybody is going to be confronted by those voices in your head that say, you don't need to do this, someone else could do this better, you should probably just quit right now. And certainly I met those voices too, and those are difficult to overcome. I think the only reason I did finish writing the script was just because I was having a lot of fun doing it. And I sort of just like, well, maybe it won't come to anything. I'm not going to worry about that now. This is making me laugh. I'm having a good time, so I'm going to keep writing it. And then once I had a draft, I started showing it to people. And once I got some positive feedback, Scarlett was one of the first people that I showed it to. And when she really liked it, and we had these really interesting conversations based on what I had written, those voices of doubt started going away and being replaced by voices of real people. And there was still a ton of work to do, hard work, but from that point forward, it is a different kind of challenge.